You know, Jimmy, have I ever told you the time I fell up an escalator? Oh yeah, it's super hard to do. And I accomplished it. Oh, hey, Jimmy, catch. Buy new gloves. Hey, welcome to Preview Review today. For the Daily Flash, I am Matt Doolittle. Now, we do want to talk about Hollywood stuff on here, but as I'm a theme park nerd and those kind of go hand in hand, we're going to jump into some of that too when we do these reviews of previews of the things coming to the theme parks. Yeah, we're going to go with that. So we got some big news yesterday. So if you don't know, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is taking over Splash Mountain. They announced this last year. There were a bunch of racial undertones and overtones, bad tones, from the Song of the South movie that the ride was based on. So Disney felt like, we need to change this up. You know, and I know a lot of people were up in arms about it, but honestly, it's a good move, and it's always good to keep updating the rides, even if it is the same exact ride. They didn't really change the ride layout of Splash Mountain here and at Disneyland, California. What they did was they just changed the inside, the story, to kind of fit that, and they're kind of trying to revamp that entire area in Adventureland over there. Frontierland mixes into Adventureland. Yeah, Disney nerd. So they've updated this, but we got a preview of the animatronics in it, and they look really cool. So Disney put out a thing called, we call it Imagineering yesterday, about their audio animatronics. And this was a subtle way for them to preview this. So let's take a look at it and see what they got to show us for Tiana's Bayou.
And the greatest examples are the figures created for Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Avi, Sarah, tell us what you do here at Imagineering.
See, Tiana, just out of nowhere, no announcement.
For any attraction.
Oh, that looks really good.
Because the story is key. And we figure out what the character thing to do in each individual scene is built off of that point. The things that then start to become important are characterization, what the character is doing, why are they there, what is happening, and we start to take
I know
that
so much goes into these, and they
digitally
really work hard to make them
animation,
look
just
fluid. I
like
think
you
the
see
best
for a
one I
film,
saw
and figure
was
out
at
what things the character needs to do
Disney's
in order to
Galaxy's
communicate the
Edge
story point
at Hollywood Studios when they
When you
opened up
see the
all that.
character in
And
person, you believe
I forget the character's
that
name. It
they
was in
are the character that you've
the
seen
Millennium
on
Falcon
screen,
ride,
they could
and
and
it looks
can
really
do
good.
anything that you've seen there to really make you feel fully immersed in that world and in their story.
And that comes from the animator working very closely with his or her collaborators from the show mechanical engineering design to surface
surprised they would have
development
never
to our
shown
figure
this
finishing team, because to
10,
make it
15
real
years ago.
is
There's
a
no
lot of
way in
work
hell they would have
beyond
shown
just
you
the 3D
behind the
image.
scenes of their animatronic systems, how they even look under the skins.
What Walt Disney Imagineering does is right there in its name. Imagineering, which is a combination of imagination, the creative side, and engineering, the technical side. You bring storytelling and technology together, and that's what you get at Walt Disney Imagineering.
Rob, Heather, how do the two of you work together to make this masterpiece?
Yeah, Rob, Heather,
Well,
how do
we
you put
battle.
together?
I was going to say dance. but it's a collaborative dance, yes. There's a lot of back and forth. I will get to create a performance, and it looks great to me, and Heather comes along and puts the costume on it after the fact, and then I can no longer
apparently
do
on the
exactly
ride
as
there's
I've
going to
been
be a
doing.
lot of Tiana.
If I'm trying to create a bit of
And
movement
so, I
in
mean,
the
like they
wrist,
did on
maybe,
the old
it
Splash
might
Mountain, you saw a
obstruct
bunch of
the
Brer
costume.
Rabbits
The
all
costume
over
might
the place
obstruct
because they got to tell a
animation.
story when
I
they go
might
through
change
the
the
ride
animation.
until you get to
Heather might
the
change
final
costume.
splash.
It's both things working in balance.
Particularly on more difficult areas like an elbow or a wrist. There's a
At least they're not
small
doing the
motor,
projection
there's a lot of
mapping.
animation. That's where a lot
Oh,
of the
there's
life
another
comes
character from right
but
now.
the
I'll be
costumes
honest,
can be
I've never
restricted.
seen
So we have to work back and forth with each other to make sure that we can clear all
Tiana
those
movie
things
all
and
the way
bring the
through.
character the life
So
it needs
I don't
and
know a
still
lot of these
maintain
characters
a
right
good
off the bat.
costume.
I'm sure we'll get to
The
know them.
wrist will actually involve, I think, 3 motors. A twist going this way, and buried up here we've got 2 motors that will give us the back and forth this way and this way.
I'll come back in and go, yeah, that's great animation, but then you can't
Mama Odie.
quite
Sorry,
make
Mama
this
Odie.
happen because she's got her shell, she's got
Bad.
her costume, it's gonna bind. So then we work together and maybe he backs off a little bit, I give a little bit, we end up with a beautiful dance.
Walt
That looks
Disney
really
still
good.
inspires
I'm
us to
super
this day.
impressed
His
with
sense
that.
of curiosity, his sense of wanting to find out new things. We're always looking for that new angle, that new technology, that new way of telling a story that's going to engage our guests. And by doing that, we're just opening up new doors, creating new avenues.
I wish I would have been smart enough to be one of these Imagineers where your job is to literally play puppets with these giant life-size animatronics. It just seems amazing and way outside my brain cells.
To bring this character to life. She is gracious, everything done with intention and precision. It touches my heart.
you giving us
I'm
that
glad they're not doing the
wonderful
graphic mapping
foundation to
eyes because
work
they
from
have
just makes
that
it so much
at
easier
the
for us
Frozen
to give it
ride
that,
at
you know,
Epcot,
authenticity.
and
We've got
sometimes
expert
the graphic
teams of
mapping
teams
doesn't work,
that all
and it
come together
tends
to
to
make
look
this
like
happen.
Elsa and
At
Anna
least
are
30
possessed
people,
because their eyes
probably
just go
more,
white.
that will touch this
I've
in
seen it
one
with
way.
Olaf where they just go black
just
and
one
terrifies
one
the
team
children
that
and the
made this
adults
come to life.
to no
You
end.
put a part of yourself into it in the best possible way to create, again, like that, the authenticity. It has to come from somewhere real, doesn't it?
Yes, you get to dance with the robots.
I'm Sonny. I work in service development. Right now, I'm working on Lewis.
How do you go about
look.
creating something
This
as
thing
large
looks
as
cool.
Lewis?
He is one of the largest.
No way they
and
would
most
have shown
dynamic
that a few
figures
years
we've
ago.
built to date. There's a lot of moving parts. You know, we've got this area that moves, this area that moves. So you have
Danger,
all of these
don't
layers.
touch anything.
You got fabric, and they all have to be like in
That
sync.
looks really
so
expensive.
This falls down into here. This falls down into here. This comes up together there, and that all covers the motors. But as he's bouncing up and down, they're all moving in sync. But it also keeps support of the costume and lets the costume ride over that, because all of these are
Didn't you
animated.
just want
It's
to
all part
program
of
one of
this
these to like an old
In
NSYNC
the
song?
past,
I
we've
think
had
somebody did that with
hydraulic,
some of the old
pneumatic, but he is a fully
was it,
electric
the
figure. So
Chuck E. Cheese
the
animatronics. They
tolerances
bought a
and the
bunch of them, or
movement
whatever the
that we're getting
knockoff
from
Chuck
these
E. Cheese was. They
electric
bought a
motors
bunch of them
is
and turned them into a
spot on.
rock band.
So we're
You can
using a lot
reprogram.
of new materials to create and bring these characters to life using what new technologies we have. I mean, we're able to do a lifelike look.
That's the Disney difference. I love that. So, Pasquale, I would love to know a bit more about how you kind of get Lewis to work.
I'm a figure programmer, and the figure programmer is the Imagineer who trains the figure. We make sure that the figure is mechanically ready.
You know,
all
Disney
the
started
cables
with an
are properly
animatronic.
placed, every shell
Abe Lincoln at
cannot
the World's
collide,
Fair.
and once that's ready,
barely got
I
up
can
and
make
down, and
sure
they didn't
that
know how
the
they
figure
do it.
actually
They went
can
all the way from that
properly
to
move,
this. It's
so the
freaking
figure
amazing.
can get all the range to make sure that everything that we are designing every step of the way is true to the creative vision. One of the important ones is also like the head turn. So we will come here during our checkout, and we will make sure that actually Lewis can move. Let me show you
Hello
this.
there.
Hey Lewis, I just want to check that your neck is all right. So we will have Lewis playing a part of his show, but only with those actuators.
Baby, what'd you
So
do
we can
today?
test that
Yeah, I played
everything
around
is
with an
working
electronic
nice
alligator
with
for a
him,
few
and
hours.
he can actually
Cool.
perform his show. So once we put the costume on, we will repeat the process again. This Lewis actually is going to be the first Lewis that our guests will see when they go down the bayou. Let me show you a little bit. It's not completed yet, but he is going to start greeting our guests and telling us, hey, I'm hearing all this music
This is
here.
cool without the skin
And that's
on it,
why
honestly.
he's such a complicated figure, right? We're moving all this massive body with just keeping
I like
up with the music of New
platform where
Orleans.
it's just dropping up and down like it's
So,
hitting a
Jess,
beat.
can you tell me about how you actuate very
Yes, I am
detailed
still
type
wearing
of
a
movement?
We really
WrestleMania
try to
shirt
think
because it is
of
WrestleMania
what Lewis
weekend.
is as a character. He's a very jolly
Macho Man
character.
shirt,
We want to make him
Oh, look at
appear
that.
as happy
The
as
skin on?
possible.
That looks
And
cool.
a big part of that is having his
That looks
belly
really
joyfully
good. It
move
looks
up and down.
animated,
We're
but
trying
it
to
doesn't look
incorporate that
overly.
as much as possible
Look at the
from
beaver.
our digital
I gotta
profile, seeing how it's going to
dance and
translate onto
sing
the
at
figure.
beaver there. That's
This
cool.
is Lewis's animation. Right now, we're watching his up, down, and his heave, which you are going to see on the lower body, and then slowly we'll integrate his upper torso. We can turn certain curves on and off, which is great to see
Yeah,
how
girl,
he's
turn those
reacting to
curves on and
different
off.
forms of space. And then we can get all of the animation all at once. So it can get a little elaborate. We can also isolate certain controllers, and it makes it a lot more simple. Each one controls an
yeah, that looks
actuator
simple.
or a motor. Ones have very specific functions. Some will be larger, some will be passive, and they all work together, and it's making sure that they work together well. Right now we have him
Then you
at
got to make
about
sure these things can run for like
75% speed,
18
just to
hours
see
a
how
day on a
everything's interacting
continuous
with
loop
itself.
for
What we're doing
365
here
days
is
a year.
adjusting the character
That's
to
the
tell
amazing
the story. And for the first time, we get to debut one of those very important characters, our beaver, Bahalia. She gets to
There
play
you go.
along with
Show that
Ralphie.
beaver.
They're keeping in time
That's
to
funny.
Lewis's conducting, and it's really bringing
Oh,
the
Lewis.
party
Oh,
together.
look, that looks
The
really
guests are
good.
just gonna love it.
What really makes the place work are the people who create all of the things.
All right, so that's a look at the characters that are coming to Tiana's Bayou. I'm really excited for that ride. I know, like I said earlier, people are up in arms about all of the changes from Splash Mountain, but come on, guys. Like, they've got to evolve everything in those parks. It can't stay the same forever. You know, another area that they're about to revamp out at Disney is Test Track. They just put out these photos of a new Test Track rendering, which I feel like they just redid it about 10 years ago. It's new concept art for the update, sponsored by Chevrolet. Got to get that in there, of course. It's definitely more, they're going to focus on an electronic car future, being one with the future in terms of, you know, the electronic cars, where we're going in the future, how they can charge. We just had an announcement here in Florida. We're going to have a highway that you're going to be able to drive on, and it's going to charge your electric cars while you're driving on it. So that's the future right there. They've had that around for a while, but they haven't pushed towards that. So this is the next evolution of Test Track, and I'm for it. I love Test Track no matter what. They're going to shut it down. Looks like June 16th. No announcement yet really on when it will reopen. Usually when they do a full gutting of something like this, it looks like it's going to be about a year. Epcot has been under this massive transition. Disney seems to do this where they'll go to one park like they just did with Hollywood Studios, gut the whole thing, which that park was a disaster for about 5 or 6 years, and redo it. I mean, when they reopened it, they got Star Wars Land, they got Toy Story Land, they redid the Great Movie Ride with Mickey's Runaway Rail Train, which I don't want to poo-poo anybody's rides. I hate that ride, and I actually hurt my neck on it. So just be careful if you go on that one. This looks cool. I'm for it. The last time the first inclination of Test Track was like the dummies and the beginning of cars. The second one was kind of the future, and they made it feel like a Hot Wheels ride, which is okay. This one, I'm excited because they always go in the future, and the great part of it is they team with Chevrolet, and they really help to you know, get that word out there where the future of automotives is. And then one last big theme park news this week, which I'm excited for, kinda, is Halloween Horror Nights. Yes, we have Halloween Horror Nights 33. I think it's 33 this year, yeah. So Halloween Horror Nights, for those of you who don't know, if you haven't watched the show a lot, I worked there for 11 years as a character. Yes, I was the one running around in makeup, prosthetics, costumes. I was everything from a vampire to a zombie to Frankenstein to a giant baby. I played it all there for 11 years, and I can tell you it is not an easy gig. You're 45 minutes on, you're 45 minutes off. I'd go through 3 gallons of water a night, just drenched in sweat. I was a walker. I was a riot walker. So I've played everything there, and it's nuts how the thing has grown over the years. When I worked it, it was, yeah, it is 33. When I worked it, it was 14 nights, okay? Spanned over beginning of October till my last night, my first year, was actually Halloween night. You worked Thursday from 5 to midnight, Friday from 5 to 2 a.m., Saturday 5 to 2 a.m., and then Sunday was 5 or 6 till midnight. Okay. Then occasionally near the end of the month, they throw a Wednesday in there, or if there was an extra day, they may throw a Monday in there. It has significantly expanded to where now Halloween Horror Nights is going to start on August 30th. I mean, last year it started on September 1st, so I guess it's just how the dates work. But my goodness, if I'm one of those workers, and I hope they have backup workers, by the end of that run, you're just like, I give up. I can't do this. We used to have people that would quit after the first night because they're like, this isn't what I expected this to be. You are on, you are going. Depending on your costume, it can be a nightmare. Even during that break, you're taking off all this stuff to go maybe eat. And if you're near one of the good commissaries, great, you get a good meal. If you're not, if you're on one of the back sides of the park with no cafeteria, hope you brought a lunch because you don't have time to run over there. They're very strict with the timing because obviously it is a go through the maze, see the scare person. They want the same person there every time with the same energy. And by the end of the night, you're just done. You're just burnt. That's why my suggestion is always go on a Thursday because everybody's fresh and ready to go. Friday, they're pacing themselves. Saturday, they don't like any of you at all. And by Sunday, they have no voice and they're ready to go to sleep because everything hurts. I used to come home and just have bruises and scratches. I don't know where they came from. It's part of the gig though. You know going into it, that's what you're going to do. At 39, I will not do it. Although, I would do one night. I'm just throwing that out there for my Universal Studios people, Universal Orlando. I would do one night in a cool character. Not in the streets. Because you can't hide. and you can't get that much water. Anyway, it's going to be August 30th. It is going to go through November 3rd, a total of 44 nights. Oh, that hurts. That just died. Even when I started doing it when I was 18, and I used to go to my college classes on Monday and it was like, leave me alone. I don't have time for this. So they're going to do that. Now, the ticket prices are another thing that have just soared. For the lowest admission fee on 11 nights is going to be $82.99. Those are your Thursdays, Sundays, most likely. Most expensive is $122.99 on the middle 3 Saturdays of October. Opening night tickets are $102.99. And if you want the express passes, that's going to range from $149.99 to $239.99. And there's even the VIP horror tours, the RIP tours where you get to go behind everything. And I think I looked at those and those were like $350. And from what I saw last year at Halloween Horror Nights, they had no crowd control. They used to max out the amount of people that would go in there, and they have kind of just let it go. And they're like, yeah, come on in. If you don't have an express pass and you go on one of those Saturday nights, you're getting maybe 1 or 2 houses in. You're waiting in line for 3 or 4 hours, $20 beers, $25 drinks. I'm hoping Universal learned from last year because there was so much backlash on controlling the crowds. Maybe that's why the prices are a little higher, but they know they're going to sell out or get to whatever they call a sellout and max out the park. So I'm hoping we get to go see a little preview of it. I know one thing that I've noticed over the years with all these vloggers that have come out there, and I'm not dissing the vlogger community, is that they've let them take videos when they go through the house and publish them. Here's the thing. If I don't really want to pay the money and I just want to go see the houses, I can just watch it. So I don't need to pay it if I don't know. I'm hoping they get that all figured out. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments. Shoot me an email, matt@dailyflashshow.com. You can always comment on our social accounts. Check us out on Instagram, dailyflash.tv. And hey, just check out our normal show. You can go to our website, dailyflashshow.com. You can see where we are airing. And that is going to do it for this theme park edition of Preview Review for the Daily Flash. Peace and love. Peace and love.